I'm going to tell you a story that I think every woman going through infertility could probably share the same kind of story. But she can't do it because if we tell these stories, you would want to throw us into a mental institution. You would hate me. But I'm going to share it because there are so many women out there who need to know that this is normal and that the pain is so deep and that that does not make them bad people. Because we're supposed to be nice and we're supposed to just get over it. And why would you want that so much anyway? Look at the freedom you have. So it's a really awful story. And you may hate me for it. And I don't care because it's real. I had a dream. I've always had a dream of being a mom. I've always had a dream of having a baby. I have letters I've written to my children. I have poems I wrote when I was 6 years old that say in the margins, this is for my children if they want to know who I am. I've lived acutely aware all my life of the loss of my mother when I was a little girl. What I didn't get to have with her, I wanted to have with my child. And that child felt, if it came from this body, that it was directly connected to her. I don't have really any memories of my mother, except for a few. One memory of her is we were sitting on the front porch and I was drawing a picture. And she looked down at me and put her hand on my head and said, "Oh, you're such a good little artist. Come here." And then I crawled up onto her lap. And I think I'm an artist because that's probably one of the last things that she said to me was, "You're such a good little artist." My fiance and I decided to get married and have a family. And we were so excited about it that we started trying before we even got married. I knew it would be hard for me because I had a lifetime of endometriosis. So we started on IVF immediately. The endometriosis was so painful. I had been living on 7 days of the highest level of narcotic. Coming home of my first cycle of IVF drugs, it was a mountain of pills. I could never remember this one versus this one. So I had to write on all my drugs what they were for: nausea, anxiety, pain. I still don't know what they were for. I remember the moment that needles became the reality, that I'd be punching myself, sometimes 1, sometimes 5 times a day, to try to make a baby. And now it feels almost absurd, and yet I was so driven and so clear and so knowing that it would work. But as I would inject myself, I would pray the substance, pray that it would make my body a channel for a child. It started feeling like the rhythms of a rosary, the injections and the prayers. And so I created this infertility rosary. And that became all these other pieces. They're about the learnings as a woman that I didn't receive from my mother. How to knit, how to cook, how to live as a woman, how to dress. So the pieces are about the molting of the dreams. I had a blood test, as you do at the end of every cycle, and it was negative. And I was in complete disbelief because, of course, I achieve everything that I want. All right, we'll do another cycle. So cycle number 2 came, and I got even cleaner with my diet and cleaner with my sleep. I read every book about taking charge of your fertility. I was lessening my meat intake and no alcohol, and I was working out 2 hours a day. I did everything right. So cycle number 2, with all of that work, blood test, phone call, devastation. Complete and utter devastation. There is nothing I could have done better on cycle number 2. And that's when I started making deals with God. I decided to go on a shamanic journey to Peru before cycle number 3. I hiked the Inca Trail and I made the entire thing a prayerful journey. I went to 15,000 feet, the top of Salcantay, and I prayed at the top of that mountain, please God, give me a baby. I'll do anything. So we came into my 3rd in vitro, legs spread, and they have this little catheter that they weave through to find your uterus. And it poked me, and it was so painful. He said, I can't see it. And we looked up at the screen and it was all cloudy. Where we were supposed to have seen the uterus, it was just clouds. So he implanted them and I just prayed, knowing that it would find its spot to nestle in. At that point, we knew that my endometriosis had actually become adenomyosis and rendered my uterus too dense to see where to place the embryo. The doctor called us in and I sat before her as she said, your body's not going to work. And it's time for you to start considering other options like adoption or surrogacy. And I was still in denial. And then she told me I had to have a hysterectomy. One day I'm at the grocery store and I see this absolutely beautiful, perfect, yoga-looking mother come in, and she has this exquisite newborn baby on her breast, swaddled up. And she was so beautiful. And I remember thinking, I want to pummel her bloody and steal her baby. So I immediately put my groceries down and I ran out of the store. And I came to my studio and I wept because the level of wrath and violence and jealousy and pain was so profound that I actually wanted to do someone harm. I said, okay, I need to be back in my studio and not be in the world because I can't have that energy move toward her. I can't expose her or anyone to this level of deep, dark, to this level of inside me. I just wanted to kill someone. I was so jealous. And so I came home and I made art. It's the only thing I knew how to do with those emotions. And the interesting thing is, we aren't supposed to have those emotions as women. We're supposed to be nice and sweet and kind and deny the fact that I want to kill you. I give myself permission to grieve and to experience all the feelings that we experience as humans. I have rage, I have grief, I have deep sadness that the experience of giving birth is not happening for me. So the grieving's real and it's deep and it's profound. One of the pieces I created is based on a beautiful little card I got from a really well-intentioned family member that said, "Dear Robbi, I'm so glad this is all behind you. Now settle down to real homemaking, real art making, and real life. Love, ... And my response was, fuck you. This will never be behind me. Because it's not. I don't have a baby. I don't have a child. I'm not a mother. It's never going to be behind me that I can't be a mother. Nobody can fix that. People come in and they look at my artwork and they say, "You're so brave for telling the truth. You're so brave for telling the truth." And I always think, since when did telling the truth become bravery? We should always be telling the truth, being authentic. I look at so many babies and children and all these people struggling with, how do I raise a child now? And it's all I want to do. And it's so hard because they don't know what's true anymore, because nobody speaks to them about truth and how important it is and how they'll grow up being honest to themselves and living well if they're just true. And that's what this work is about for me. This is about something else. About being a woman and a creative being, true creator. And that's a dance I do with my dark and my light and my work, is recognizing that staying here and having all the yucky happen, it's the darkest soil that makes the most abundant trees. It's the blackest soil that the roots can dig deepest into. It's the shadow side of my work. It's the shadow side of my life. It's the shames and the guilt and the anger and the abuse that I've doled to people or on myself, mainly, that creates the lightest aspects of my work. And so many people are fucking afraid of the dark. They're afraid of their sexuality and what it doesn't fit into the norm, or they're afraid of their dark thoughts of envy and of greed. It's like, you know what? We all fucking feel that. We all feel it. And if we're not honest about it from our heart and saying, this is how I'm feeling right now, it doesn't make me a bad person. It just makes me fully fucking human. I am a full, beautiful, amazing human because of that deep, dark stuff that I lived through. If I speak my truth, which is what this installation is about, if I'm speaking my truth, then it's going to be a service to the world. And I'm going to use that to the highest level that I can for it to be a service. I feel that we rob our little girls from being able to talk about the things that hurt. We're taught we can kvetch or we can gossip or we can do this superficial conversation around things we're feeling. However, to actually say, I am really envious of you because you have a child, and have that not be heard, it's obvious that it would be true, right? It's obvious that I would have that because you know me and it's an experience. You, whoever you are, know that this is a desire I don't have and you do. So I experience envy and jealousy. And I witness that envy or jealousy and say, okay, that's what's happening. Don't act out of it. And that's a distinction and a nuance that we aren't teaching our children. And we are meant to learn to communicate with one another, to uplift each other and help us heal. That's what the sisterhood does. That's what the feminine does. This is my version of the red tent. I've created a sacred space where women can come together and have a conversation about blood, about bone, about lineage, about shame, about pain, about craziness, about drugs, about their bodies failing them. our bodies failing us. The Empty Womb is my art installation that I created for my own healing initially. And then I realized it actually is for every woman who undergoes child loss, miscarriage, infertility in vitro. I've done this for you. I've done this for them. I needed to make my art to heal myself. And my hope is that any or all of this connects with you and lets you know that it's going to be okay. Which is sometimes really hard to believe.